Hello and welcome to this episode of the Recruitment Podcast, where we celebrate academic recruitment and bring education to everyone today. We're diving into some really fascinating HR tech innovations, specifically for those of you in higher education.
Yeah, it's a really dynamic time to be in HR. We're seeing technology not just streamline processes, but actually reshape how we approach talent acquisition, development, and engagement.
Exactly. And we'll be looking at some cutting-edge examples today from the article Driving Efficiency and Empowerment, 5 trailblazing examples of HR technology innovation. It really emphasizes how technology can help us create a better, more inclusive and engaging experience for employees, something that's really important in the unique environment of higher education.
Absolutely. Universities and colleges face very specific challenges when it comes to recruiting and retaining top talent. And these innovations offer some really interesting solutions.
So let's start with the idea of embedding inclusive practices within HR technologies. This is where things get really interesting because we're talking about using AI to actually reduce bias in the recruitment process.
Yeah, it's a powerful application of technology. The Diversity Council Australia, a leading voice in promoting inclusive workplaces, highlights how AI can analyze data without those unconscious biases we humans sometimes bring to the table.
So instead of relying on gut feelings or potentially biased assumptions, AI can help us focus on objective information, making the selection process fairer for everyone. What would you say is the most compelling example of this in action?
Well, the article mentions a fascinating case study with L'Oreal. They used AI to analyze and adjust the language used in their job postings to eliminate any potential gender bias. And the result was a significantly more balanced candidate pool, a first in the company's history.
That's fantastic. And I can see how this could be incredibly valuable in higher education. We need a diverse faculty and staff to create a truly inclusive learning environment for students. AI could be a powerful tool.
Absolutely. And it's not just about ticking boxes for diversity quotas. It's about ensuring that everyone, regardless of their background, has an equal opportunity to contribute their talents and perspectives to the academic community.
So let's shift gears a bit and talk about AI's role in reshaping recruitment dynamics as a whole.
Right. This is where AI really starts to go beyond simple efficiency and starts to change the way we approach recruiting. The article highlights 3 key areas where AI is making a significant impact: enhanced candidate matching, automated candidate screening, and addressing potential bias in algorithms.
Okay, let's break those down one by one, starting with enhanced candidate matching. How is AI changing the way we find the right people?
Well, in the past, we relied heavily on keyword matching, which often missed out on qualified candidates whose resumes didn't use the exact right phrasing. But AI can go much deeper, analyzing skills, experience, and even personality traits to identify the best fit for a particular role.
And that's especially crucial in higher education, where we need very specialized skills and qualifications. It's not just about finding someone with a PhD. It's about finding someone with the right research focus, the teaching experience, and the cultural fit for a specific department.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that's where AI can really shine. It can help us sift through a large pool of applicants and identify those who are most likely to thrive in a particular academic environment. So that brings us to automated candidate screening.
Right. This is where AI can help streamline the often tedious process of reviewing applications, freeing up HR professionals to focus on more strategic initiatives. But doesn't this raise concerns about removing the human element from the process altogether?
Well, that's a valid concern, but it's important to remember that AI isn't meant to replace human judgment. Instead, it should be viewed as a powerful tool that can assist HR professionals in making more informed decisions. For example, imagine a scenario where an AI can analyze hundreds of applications, flagging those that meet the essential criteria for a specific faculty position. This allows the HR team to focus their time and energy on those top candidates, conducting in-depth interviews and assessments to evaluate their suitability for the role.
That makes sense. So it's about leveraging AI to make the process more efficient, not eliminating the human element entirely. And speaking of the human element, we can't talk about AI in recruitment without addressing the potential for bias.
Absolutely. The Diversity Council Australia emphasizes the importance of implementing measures to mitigate bias in AI algorithms. This includes using techniques like blind recruitment, where identifying information is removed from applications to prevent unconscious bias, structured interviews with standardized questions to ensure fairness, and skills-based assessments that focus on a candidate's actual abilities rather than relying on subjective evaluations.
Those are all crucial steps in ensuring that the use of AI in recruitment promotes equity and fairness. I can see how these practices would be especially important in higher education, where we're committed to building a diverse and inclusive community.
It's about creating a level playing field where everyone has the opportunity to succeed based on their merits and potential. Now, let's move on to a topic that's particularly relevant in today's world: revolutionizing talent integration through digital onboarding.
Oh yeah, this is an area that's seen a lot of innovation, especially with the rise of remote work. It's no longer just about handing new hires a stack of paperwork. Digital onboarding has to be much more engaging and comprehensive now.
Exactly. The pandemic really accelerated the shift to remote work, and that forced organizations to rethink their approach to onboarding. It's become about creating a seamless and engaging experience that helps new employees feel welcome, connected, and supported from day one, even if they're not physically present on campus.
That makes sense. It's about building a sense of belonging right from the start and setting the tone for a positive work culture. And I imagine this is especially important in higher education, where new faculty and staff need to quickly acclimate to the unique culture of an academic institution.
Absolutely. In fact, a study from Sheffield Hallam University found that digital onboarding can significantly improve employee engagement, well-being, and even perceptions of meaningful work. And the Diversity Council Australia recommends incorporating mentorship programs into the onboarding process, which can be especially beneficial in a complex environment like higher education. Having a mentor can provide new faculty and staff with guidance, support, and a sense of community, helping them navigate the nuances of academic life and feel more connected to the institution.
That's a great point. It's not just about providing information, it's about fostering those personal connections that are so essential to a thriving academic community.
Exactly. And technology can be a powerful tool for facilitating those connections, even in a remote or hybrid work environment.
So now let's talk about something that sounds fun.
Mhm.
Gamification for strategic learning enhancement. I have to admit, I'm intrigued by the idea of using games in a professional setting.
Well, it might sound counterintuitive, but gamification is about more than just having fun, although that's certainly a bonus. It's about leveraging game mechanics like leaderboards, points, badges, and challenges to make learning more engaging, effective, and rewarding.
I can see how that would appeal to a younger generation. That's grown up with video games and online platforms. But how does this translate to real-world benefits for employees and institutions?
Well, research by Carl Kapp, a professor of instructional technology, shows that gamification can significantly boost engagement, knowledge retention, and skill development. It taps into our natural desire for competition, achievement, and recognition, making the learning process more enjoyable and effective.
It's fascinating, and I imagine this could be particularly beneficial in higher education for things like faculty development and training.
Absolutely. Faculty members are constantly having to learn and adapt to new technologies, pedagogical approaches, and research methods. Gamification can make those professional development experiences more engaging and effective, helping faculty stay up to date with the latest trends and best practices.
That's a great point. Not only would it make professional development more fun and rewarding for faculty, but it would ultimately benefit the institution as a whole by ensuring that faculty are equipped with the skills and knowledge they need to excel in their roles.
Exactly. It's a win-win situation. Now, let's move on to a topic that's becoming increasingly important in HR: unlocking potential with data-driven human resource analytics.
This sounds like a game changer. How is data transforming the way HR operates?
Well, HR analytics is all about using data to make better decisions across all aspects of HR, from recruitment and talent management to employee engagement and retention. It's about moving beyond gut feelings and anecdotal evidence, and using data to understand trends, predict future needs, and measure the effectiveness of HR initiatives.
So we're talking about using data to make HR more strategic and proactive rather than just reactive.
Precisely. Imagine being able to identify which recruitment strategies are most effective at attracting diverse candidates, or predicting which employees are most likely to leave the organization. HR analytics can provide those kinds of insights, enabling institutions to make more informed decisions about talent acquisition, development, and retention.
That's incredibly valuable information. And how does this apply to the unique challenges faced by higher education institutions?
Well, higher ed is facing a lot of pressures right now, from changing student demographics and evolving funding models to new academic trends and increased competition. HR analytics can help institutions adapt and thrive in this dynamic environment.
Can you give me some specific examples of how that might work?
Certainly. For example, HR analytics can help institutions understand workforce trends, identify skill gaps, and predict future staffing needs. This can inform strategic decisions about recruitment, professional development programs, and succession planning. Ensuring that the institution has the right people with the right skills at the right time.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about using data to make strategic decisions that will ensure the long-term success of the institution. And speaking of adapting to the changing times, our final topic for today is revolutionizing HR management through mobile applications. This seems like a natural evolution given how much we all rely on our phones these days.
It's an area where HR is really starting to catch up to the expectations of a younger, more tech-savvy workforce. Mobile apps are changing the way employees interact with HR, making information and services more accessible and convenient.
I can see how that would be appealing to both employees and HR professionals. What are some of the key benefits of using mobile apps for HR?
Well, they offer a lot of advantages. They provide self-service options, allowing employees to access information, update personal details, request time off, and complete other tasks on their own time without having to go through HR. They also streamline processes, improving efficiency and reducing paperwork. And perhaps most importantly, they enhance communication, keeping everyone connected and informed, regardless of location.
That's quite a list. And I can see how this would be particularly appealing to younger generations who are accustomed to having information and services at their fingertips.
Absolutely. Millennials and Gen Z have grown up with technology. They expect everything to be accessible and convenient, and HR needs to keep up with those expectations.
That's especially important in higher education, where we need to attract and retain top talent,
Yeah.
including those digital natives who are entering the workforce.
Precisely. Mobile apps can help create a more modern and engaging HR experience, which can be a real differentiator in the competition for talent. It's not just about keeping up with the times, it's about meeting the needs and expectations of the next generation of faculty and staff.
That's a great point. It's about making HR more accessible, efficient, and user-friendly, which ultimately benefits everyone involved. This has been a really fascinating dive into the world of HR tech innovations and how they're shaping the future of work, particularly in the realm of higher education.
It's an exciting time to be in HR. There's so much potential for technology to help us create a more human-centered, strategic, and effective approach to managing talent.
I couldn't agree more.
And it's not just about attracting new talent, it's also about engaging and retaining the amazing faculty and staff we already have.
Right, retaining employees, that's so important.
Yeah.
We can't just focus on bringing new people in. We need to create an environment where everyone feels valued, supported, and motivated to grow.
Exactly. And technology can play a big role in that. We can use data to understand what matters most to our employees, what their professional goals are, and how we can help them develop and advance in their careers.
So it's about creating a culture of continuous learning and development, not just a one-time onboarding experience. So how can these technologies help us make that a reality in higher education?
Well, think about how we can personalize professional development opportunities using AI. Imagine a system that recommends courses, workshops, or even mentorship connections based on an individual's interests, goals, and career trajectory. That kind of tailored approach could make a huge difference in how faculty and staff experience professional growth.
That's a fantastic idea. It's taking the concept of personalized learning that we apply to students and extending it to our employees. What other possibilities do you see for using technology to create a more engaging and supportive work environment?
Well, mobile apps can play a big role here as well. Imagine an app that allows employees to easily access information about benefits, policies, and upcoming events. It could even facilitate communication and collaboration among colleagues, fostering a stronger sense of community within the institution.
That kind of easy access to information and resources, that can make such a big difference in how employees feel supported and connected. It's about removing those barriers and frustrations that can sometimes get in the way of people doing their best work.
Exactly, and when employees feel valued and supported, they're more likely to be engaged, productive, and committed to the institution's mission. It creates a positive cycle that benefits everyone.
So to wrap up this deep dive into HR tech innovations,
Mhm.
what would you say are some key takeaways for those of us working in higher education HR?
I think the main takeaway is that technology is not a threat to HR. It's an incredible opportunity to make HR more human-centered, more strategic, and more effective. It's about using technology to enhance our human capabilities, not replace them.
I completely agree. And I think this conversation has highlighted how important it is for HR professionals to stay informed about the latest developments in technology. and to be open to exploring how these innovations can help us create a better work experience for everyone in higher education.
Absolutely. The field is constantly evolving, and it's crucial for HR professionals to stay ahead of the curve. That means attending conferences, reading industry publications, and engaging in conversations like this one to share ideas and best practices.
Well said. And speaking of staying ahead of the curve, if you're looking for exciting opportunities to make a difference in higher education, be sure to check out academicjobs.com.
It's a fantastic resource for anyone interested in exploring higher ed career paths.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a truly insightful conversation.
It's been my pleasure, and thank you for having me.
It's been a fascinating look into how technology is changing things for HR and higher ed. I'm already thinking about ways we can use these ideas where I work.
I'm glad you are. It really is exciting to see how these innovations are making people more creative with talent management and coming up with new approaches.
Before we go, I wanted to touch on something you said earlier about technology just being a tool. It's not about losing that human connection. It's about using these tools to make our connections even stronger and create a more human experience at work.
That is so important. With all this new technology, it's easy to forget about people, which is what higher ed is all about. We have to find a balance between all this innovation and what makes academia so special.
Exactly. It's about giving faculty and staff the power to do their best, building a real sense of community, and making sure everyone has what they need to really thrive. And technology can help us get there.
It really can. And we in HR need to think carefully about how we use these tools. It's not just about having the newest technology. It's about using it in a way that fits with our values and what our community needs.
I couldn't agree more. It's been great talking to you today. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and what you've learned.
It was great to be here.
And to our listeners, if you're thinking about a career in higher ed, be sure to visit academicjobs.com. You'll find lots of opportunities to make a real difference in this exciting field.
It's a great place to start looking.
Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time.